Hello everybody, I'm Jason Barron. Welcome to another edition of Conibear Enterprises Weekly Update. You know, I've been talking and writing quite a bit about the book Ballad of Northland, the project I've been working on. I've been working on it for a little over a year, but arguably it's been in the works for 20 or maybe even longer years. And one of the things that I wanted to start talking about now and maybe sharing in these videos would be some excerpts from the stories. I think the next video will be I'll probably do a reading, you know, a 2 or 3 minute reading just to give people an idea of some of the content. But just a general overview right now is the book there's a prologue and an epilogue, sort of bookending the main bulk of the story. And the bulk of the story is comprised of 3 sections, and the first of them is called River Rat. And I drew the inspiration for River Rat from my own personal experiences growing up in the kind of the bushland of Alaska. Me and my brothers and my family took us out onto took us under the river when I was just a little boy. I think I was about 6 or 7 years old, and my older brother Laird's a couple years older than me, and my younger brother Will is 4 years younger. So we were just little guys, and they took us, Mom and Dad took us out there and onto the big bend of the Yentna River, and that's 35 miles south. It's on the Yentna River. It's 35 miles south of where Skwentna is. And anybody who knows the Iditarod or kind of follows the Iditarod Insight or anything is familiar with Skwentna. Also, the first checkpoint of the Iditarod is Yentna Station. Well, our homestead on the Yentna River, the big bend of the Yentna River, was about 1.5 miles below where Yentna Station is now, and it was several years before there was a Yentna Station out there. And when I grew up, a real formative chunk of my childhood was spent on that river and becoming what we were referred to out there as river rats. And I tell a lot of people that, and they immediately leap to this kind of conclusion that I grew up in this sort of idyllic, outdoorsy, you know, perfect sort of existence like everybody would want, you know, Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer kind of thing. But the reality is we kind of grew up in this sort of Grapes of Wrath, Depression era scenario. We were always short on supplies. We never really had anything financially going for us, and it was a sort of a eking it out kind of existence. And you know, I have all these memories from in the summertime. You'd have to take a river boat all the way out to the Susitna Landing, which was about 70 miles away, and kind of a big deal back in those days. I mean, if your motor broke down, you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, no one to come and help you fix it. And then 35 miles north of us was Skwentna, and that was a small community. It's a kind of a town, really, but we had no practical reason to go up there other than in the wintertime. So we were very isolated. We could go the whole week and maybe hear a motor or something go by, like 1 or 2 people might go up the river, down the river during the course of the week. So it was unusual to hear a motor out in the river. So we were very isolated, and it was easy to kind of forget that there was such a thing as man-made civilization beyond the confines of our own sort of existence. And in the wintertime, you know, of course there were snowmobiles and whatnot, but we didn't have one, so it was dog teams. And it was the same thing, you know, if you wanted to get somewhere, it was by dog team. So we had several trap lines, and we hunted and ice fished and just did various things like that. So the first part of Ballad of Northland, the portion River Rat, actually draws very heavily from all of that period of my childhood growing up. And like I said, I write about it a lot in the blogs, and it was a real formative period for me. So I think people are going to be very entertained by that. So I hope you guys are all having a good week, and we'll see you next week.